Love the show.
Oh,
Love the
thank
show.
you. Look, we're matching.
I did that on purpose.
Oh.
I've been stalking you. I'm Mitch on Facebook.
I know who
And
you
whenever
are.
you just like one thing, I'm like,
I was looking at your Instagram yesterday. You posted something really sweet.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get your attention.
Yeah, and then I went to your Instagram and I was looking at it.
Not you, but someone else lying in the Stitchers. They have
Yes,
it
that's what I saw.
downstairs.
That's what I saw, yeah. Yeah.
Are you guys enjoying the convention?
Absolutely.
We are.
Yeah.
We haven't actually seen our corpse cassette yet, so I'm excited to get down there.
You definitely
and
feel safer in here. You know,
Close in a box.
I mean, it's a nice closed box away from like the crazy costumes with the foam swords. And all
I'm
that
into
stuff.
the crazy costume people. I am a crazy costume
overwhelming.
person.
In order for you to go, you have to wear costumes so you can hide who you are.
Oh.
There's
Put a mask on,
celebrities
you can
all
walk around.
over the floor. You
I
just
think
don't know
we
it.
can fend off 13-year-old girls.
Well, a little while ago, they re-released all of the Lord of the Rings films in Blu-ray in theaters in New York, and my husband and I, we're big Lord of the Rings fans, and so we went, and we were always like 2 hours early, and there was this one woman who was always there before us, who always got the best seat. But see, I wanted to go as like an elf. I wanted to go in elf or ant costume, but he nixed it, so I would do that.
So now we're here on the other side.
So now we're here, and then yeah,
in normal
somebody
clothing.
actually asked me who I was cosplaying, and I was like, "Wait, I'm like that 80s? Like what's wrong? No one."
It's fashion forward.
So, assuming that Cameron lives, the dynamics between your characters would have to change in the next season. Do you tease anything?
I would assume so. I mean, if someone died for me, I'd feel like I'd take a little backseat to them for the rest of my life. So that's something for you to play in case I live. We'll see. I think you know, anyone that's faced with a life or death situation, whether you're in it or experiencing it from the outside, I think that has a great effect on your life, and I think that's going to take a toll on the lab. And as far as the questions that have come up, and now that one of their friends and coworkers have kind of put himself on the line, you know, for them, I think people are going to start getting a little more serious about what the bigger purpose of the Stitches program is, because we almost lost one of our own in a way, you know? So
Yeah, I think it definitely changes each character deeply. You'll see very different characters come back in season 2, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, it's a huge deal.
So, what's coming up for this season that you could, tease about?
It's definitely, we're keeping it with the high stakes. You know, I think last season we started, you had to get to know us and get to know the show and get to know what we were
you're teaching
doing.
your audience.
Yeah.
Now that we're here.
Now that we're here, we ended on like a really, really intense episode. We're going to keep it at that same level. It's going to be high stakes all the way through.
Yeah. We're doing a more ambitious show on the same budget.
Yeah.
So bigger, more
Basically.
action, same amount of money. You're like, okay.
But you're really going to see like the characters drawn out and relationships develop, and I think it's a very character-driven show, and I think that's what a lot of the fans were drawn to, was not just the procedural stuff, which is fun and which drives the action forward, but the relationships between each of the characters. So you're going to get to delve into who everybody is a little bit more.
A lot of the lab people that you've seen before are now coming back, and how they're dealing with their life outside of the lab and their life inside the lab, and what the lab is doing to them, because I think that is now itself a character this season.
And of course, I think we're going to get into more about the backstory, like how the Stitches program was built, Kristen's parents, all of that type of stuff. I think we're going to find more and more out about.
What was your audition process like? Because you play the character fantastic, just completely unemotional, and from top to bottom, like there's not even emotion in your eyes, because that's what I look at.
That was something that I really wanted to do, and it was definitely something that was people were nervous about, because it's hard to empathize with a character that doesn't have emotions, and there were definitely people who felt like she was super unlikable, and to me it was worth it to play her like that with integrity. To me, that's like, you have a character who literally can't feel emotions. I can't give her emotions just because it might make her more likable.
You're doing what's on the page.
Yeah, to me, to be an actor with integrity, I have to play her how she is, and she did have this like emotional journey through the season where she started to learn more about emotions, and I felt like that to start her with no emotions would be a much bigger payoff when she started to feel them, and people would want to follow her journey. So I guess back to your question, the audition process, I auditioned here. They had a casting director in LA, obviously, and then they had a casting director in New York. We both auditioned here, and they sent out tapes to LA. And then they asked, I went out for, what do you call it?
Screen test.
Screen test.
It's your first time at the rodeo.
It was my first screen test.
You can count the auditions on one hand.
It was definitely my first screen test. I went out for a screen test, and there were 5 other people there, 2 other people up for the part of Kirsten, 3 people up for the part of Cameron, none of whom got it because Kyle did, and Kyle was not there. And we never did a chemistry read or anything like that.
Mine was all off the tape.
Yeah.
So.
And then I found out that night, so it was kind of a crazy whirlwind. Like I was sitting at the airport waiting to fly back to New York when I found out. So.
Well,
yeah.
you really pull it off well, because that's what draws me to the character. It's just it's so, you don't deviate from that.
Yeah, that was really important to me as an actor. Yeah.
This is the last question.
Okay.
So what is your favorite fan interaction so far with the show?
Besides us.
Yes, besides us, we're the best table.
I mean, the fans have been awesome on like this. I mean, they tell us they warn you about the amount of fans that ABC Family reaches on social media, and you're like, oh yeah, and then you actually see the the outpouring love, and you're like, wow, this is amazing across the globe. There's so many fans that are affected by this show, which is great, and we see all the tweets and all the Instagrams and everything, and I love it. My favorite is I was on the subway in New York City, and it was the day of the finale, and this girl comes up to me, and she's like, "Are you Cameron?" I'm just like, and this is the first interaction I've ever had with a fan, so I'm just like, "Yeah."
It's always awkward, you don't know how to-
takes a picture. Evan's looking at me on the subway, like there's about 70 people on the train, like,
And they're like,
"Who's this
"Who
guy?" And I'm
are
like,
you?
"I'm no one. I'm really not anyone." And then she screams off the train. It made my day, but it was just like I was so red in the face because I was like, "Well, that was cool, but no one knows who I am." I'm sitting here, just, carry on.
I've had a bunch of people, and it's hard to pick one because it's always so nice. People are always so kind, Like we've had people, even yesterday when we flew out here, our flight was at 6 a.m. and there was a guy who had been waiting there since 3 a.m. to get autographs. So there are some pretty dedicated fans, but I'm going to give a shout out to Sergio at my gym. He works at the front desk, and he is a fan, and I love him.
What's up, Sergio?
Hi, Sergio.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.